This video is to go over building Java programs, exercise 14.6. This is stacks and queues chapter. We're going to do it in the Practice It website. And as usual, because it's an exercise, I won't be giving you the full code, but I will be giving you enough pseudocode so that you should be able to do the coding. So this problem here, you are given a queue of integers. Here's the queue. And students frequently get confused which side of the queue is on the left and the right. So the left is the front, the back is the right, and it's actually the same as for stacks. Stacks are written when you start inserting things. Stacks, they start at the left and they end at the right. The only difference is that for stacks, you pull things off the right. For queues, you pull things off the left. Okay, so remember, left to right, just like you would expect. So it takes a queue as a parameter, and you want to rearrange the order such that all of the even numbers, 4 and 6 and 84, are at the head of the queue. All the odd numbers, 3, 5, etc., are at the back of the queue, and you have to keep them in order. And they give you one auxiliary stack as storage. So first thing I always tell my students is draw out the data structure examples so that you understand what's going. Now it's nice they already gave us a data structure example, so let's start with that. So that's what we're given. Example. So what happens if I've got a auxiliary stack? So what happens if I transfer this queue into a stack? It's going to start like this, and then it's going to end up, sorry, what I want to do is I want to leave all the the even numbers in here, right? So what I want to do is remove all of these odd ones, and I've got a spare stack. So what happens if I go ahead and put these items into a stack? So 3 and 5, let's get rid of those. They're going to go in this order, and then here's a 17, and then there's an 83, and there's also a 1 and a 37. That is going to be okay. So the queue is going to be like this, and then the stack, this is going to be the top of the stack where we're going to act on. Stack's going to look like this. Okay, then what can we do? We want to put these odd numbers at the end of this queue. So what happens? I'll just say transfer odd items of queue to stack. Okay, now the only thing I can really do is I can transfer odd items in stack to end of queue. What's that going to result? It's going to start out with this, and then it's going to add the items. Remember, you popping off of the end, so it's going to reverse these. So it'll be 37, 1, 83, 17, 5, 3. But that's not what we want. So we have a problem here. We got to reverse all these items off the end here. But all we've got to work with is another stack, right? So now we're going to have to transfer odd items of queue to stack. This sounds really familiar, doesn't it? So then what we're going to have, it's a little more organized now. So we're going to take these guys here. We're going to get rid of them. And then we're going to pull these items off from left to right, and we're going to stick them onto the stack, and they will also end up on the stack. 37 is going to be the first one taken off the queue, and it's going to be the first one pushed onto the stack. The last one that we take off the queue will be 3, and it will be the last one on the stack. Now, what did we do with these? Because we have to access the queue from the front end. So what did we do with all of these guys? We had to do something with them, all these even ones. Well, there's a nice feature of queues. You can take something off the front, stick it on the back. And then when you get back around, you're done. So we just need to know we just need to know when to stop. So we keep on pulling items off, and all the even ones, and we stick them on the back. When we get to the odd ones, we're gonna push them onto the stack. But we do need some sort of a signal to tell us that we're done. So hold on to that thought that we need to know how many items to move from the front of the queue to the back. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on moving items forever. That's not going to be good. So hold on to that. So, but we're not done yet because we've got this queue and we got this stack, and it's still not in the right order. But notice when we took these items here, we put them back onto the queue, it reversed the order. So if we take these guys and put them back onto the queue, onto the stack, it'll be the no, onto the queue. We're going to put them onto the back of the queue. They'll be in the right order. It's going to reverse that. So next time, it'll come back looking like this. That's right. Now, you notice how I remember when I said this looks familiar? So this operation here, transfer odd items from stack to queue, is the exact same procedure as this set here. Okay, in this case, we took a mixture of odd and even numbers, and we pulled them all off into a separate stack. Here, we took a stack that had them sorted by odds and evens, and we wanted to do the same thing. But we're going to need to know how many items are the even items. So what I would suggest you do, you can do this manually, but what I would strongly suggest you do is you make a function to take it needs to take a queue, this input queue, and it needs to take a stack. Initially that stack will be, you'll create the stack and then you'll have to pass it in. And you want to go through each element. If it's even, you're going to want to put it on the back. If it's odd, you're going to want to push it. But eventually you need to know to stop, because otherwise you're just going to keep on doing that forever. So you need to also pass in some sort of count to see how many items you want to go through. So you could count the number of even items, the number of odd items, but the simplest one you've already got available to you is the total number in the queue. You can look at the queue size. So you probably want to take a note of the queue size and then pass that into a procedure which will strip off all of the odd ones into a separate stack. So that's one procedure. Then you've got, it's not really worth a procedure. You could make it a procedure. You want to have something that takes a stack and sticks it on the back of the queue. It's really just 2 lines. You probably not worth it to go and do a procedure. Then you're going to want to call that same that procedure to strip out again, take a queue and strip it out to all the odds ones into a stack. Then you're going to want to again put them back in. So if you do that through those 2 complete iterations, then you should be able to achieve the goal. So that's let's see, in terms of what is different about this one than the other practice sets so far. This one may be the first one where it was actually required in order to shuffle, or I'm not sure how would you call it. You're going to take the items from the front and put them in the back of the queue. I actually find that's a useful paradigm. There are many other ways that you can do things generally, but in this particular problem, it's one of really the only ways to do it because you don't have enough extra stacks and queues to work with. So it's a nice feature to be able to shuffle things from the front to the back. You can look through the entire queue, and it's also an important thing to learn that you need to actually count how many items you have before you start shuffling them to the back, because otherwise you're going to keep on doing that forever. So I think that's maybe the most important thing. Also, it's many times in these stack and queue operations, you'll find that what you have available to you is shuffling between, transferring between stacks and queues, and that has the effect of reversing the order. And it's important for you to understand what operations do what to the order. If you understand what the operations do, you can make anything happen with either 1 or two operations, because if you want them in reverse, you do them generally once. If you want them in the same order, you generally do it twice. In this case, you're going to have to do things twice. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.